Hello, I'm Laura Furiosi, divorced mother of 3, and I'm here with my mother, Lynette Galvin, with 35 years' experience in family law. You're listening to the Divorce Course podcast. Through our candid discussions, we hope to help you through your divorce or de facto separation. We will be answering the most commonly asked questions and covering the stages and steps that you will face on your way to freedom. You might be thinking, what can I do myself to keep my costs down? Well, today's episode is 5 things you can do yourself without lawyers to keep your costs down. Welcome, Mum.
Hello, Laura. Hello, everyone.
So we're going to basically be doing an episode today on what people can do so they don't need you.
Yes, or someone like me.
Yes. Or if you're stressing and you think, I've got to go and get a lawyer to do all of this so you're doing nothing, listen to this episode and you can figure out some things that you can do. Or if you do have a lawyer right now and you're stressing about money, listen to this episode so you can figure out some of the things that you can say to your lawyer. Hey, by the way, I think I'm going to do this part because I can do this myself.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think people underestimate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think people get scared of the whole legal system because they think, oh, well, I'm not the expert in that. But well, I guess you look at it, you go see a doctor to get advice on how to stay healthy. And then you go do the exercise, you go run on the treadmill, you do the gym work or you eat healthy. Like that's stuff you can do without your doctor. So it's the same kind of thing, I guess.
I think it probably is.
Yeah. So this time, let's talk about the number one thing. Let's get straight into it.
Rightio.
Number one thing you can do yourself. The starting off with?
Well, letters. Letters. The first letters or emails to your ex, either to tell them that you're splitting up or to start talking about property settlement.
Yeah.
Because you're the expert in your own life and you're really the expert in your ex as well.
Yeah.
So you know how you could tailor a letter probably to them and, you know, how to deal with them. So give that a good go because it doesn't have to be all legalese.
Yeah. You're talking about a letter that says basically, I'm leaving you.
Yes. Or hi, Johnny, we've split up, but it's time for us to start talking about our property settlement. And then that gets the ball rolling and the conversation going.
Yeah.
Only if it's safe, of course.
Of course. Yeah. And if it's not safe, call 1-800-RESPECT and get a safety plan in place. Of course, it's important, as we always say, to go and see a lawyer so you know where you stand and know exactly what, you know, you're entitled to. But that's a one-off, see the lawyer. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you have to then go and get the lawyer to write the letter to say you're leaving.
Absolutely right.
And you can time when to send that letter and all of that sort of stuff. But that is one simple thing you can do.
Yes.
Okay. And you can write a lot of letters, really.
Well,
not just the first one, but you could write.
You could. But just be careful that you don't get accused of family violence or
by writing
harassment.
Too many.
Yes. So to work it out and make them courteous, but you can do that.
Yeah. In a business-like way.
That's right. And it's now unpacking your business.
Yeah.
You know, we're working out the business of getting out of this relationship.
Right. Number 2, the next thing you can do yourself without a lawyer is figuring out your property pool.
Yes. So unfortunately, though, you can't really see that on a general web search or by reading the Family Law Act. The best way to do it, really, shameless plug here, is to do our course.
Yes. Or you just sit down and you figure out what assets you have. That's your property pool, right? That's your property pool. And that's what a lawyer would do. They would say, what assets do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. So figuring out what your property pool is. So what kind of things do they like? So it's cars, houses?
Yeah. It's the property of either of them or both of them. So it's anything they own at the time that you're writing this letter. So you might say to your ex, look, I think this is the property we've got, and it might be our house, an investment property, a car, a caravan, a guitar worth something, you know, just
money in the bank,
shares, super,
Bitcoin.
And have a little investigation and see if you can put that together. You probably over the years have had access to nearly everything. So you'd know, for instance, roughly their super, unless they were very secretive about it. You've got an idea of what your house is worth. If you haven't got a particular valuation, you can say to your ex something like, look, the house 2 doors down sold for this.
Yeah.
I think ours is slightly bigger land. Our house is worth probably this. Do you agree? Do we agree on that? Because you don't have to get a valuer.
Okay.
If you've got an agreed value. If there's bits you need your ex to give input to, you can still send it over, put an estimated amount with what I call the magic E in front, and ask them to fill in the gap. So you are really starting the ball rolling with step one of what the court does.
And what a lawyer would do.
What a lawyer would do, yeah.
It's because you've got to agree on the property pool.
Yeah.
And we do an episode on percentages and all of that sort of stuff that you can go and do, or you can go and do our course where you learn how to do that really well. But so basically, it's not hard. And I guess you know it better than your lawyer, because all you're really going to do is go into your lawyer and say, okay, well, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, and your lawyer's going to write it down and then they're going to charge you.
Yeah.
So you could create a property pool spreadsheet with our course, or you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that is something you don't need a lawyer for.
Well, that's right. And sometimes the rights to a book, houses, cars, money in bank shares, etc., when absolutely property.
Okay. And also you could be writing, you could also collate the debts, the joint debts.
The debts, put them all.
Put that in the so
as far as you know them, and put an estimate if you're not exactly sure. So it's really like you might have a house at $150,000, I'm saying, just for figures, and you owe $50,000 on it. Well, the net value, obviously, then is 150 minus 50, so it's $100,000, and that helps you calculate who. If you've got worked out your percentage shares, then you can look at the equity in each property or each item and say, oh, well, that can be part of my share, that can be part of my share, that can.
Yeah.
It's not the overall value of them.
Gotcha.
It's that minus the mortgage.
But just the basic sitting down and figuring out, writing a list of what property you own, what property they own, and doing a little digging, doing a little bit of research, looking at the values, maybe getting things valued. You can do all of that without a lawyer.
You can. There's lawyers never on valuations, as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah. And that would save you some money.
Absolutely. If by the time you go to a lawyer, you already have a property pool established and agreed.
And that's going to save you
money. You're halfway there.
Okay, great. Number 3, the things you can do yourself without a lawyer, disclosure.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's the big one. It's the big bear, isn't it?
Yes.
Disclosure. And full disclosure. I think we did a whole episode on what full disclosure
And
is.
we've got a checklist for disclosure that you can go download off our website in the free resources. But we also in the course talk you through how to do disclosure, what system to set up in place. We were just doing a webinar recently and we had someone say to us that there was 568 documents that they gave to their lawyer, who then was charging them to upload into systems. You can download it off our website, but there's plenty of things like your bank statements, the pay slips, the super, that kind of stuff. So you can provide all of that yourself. You can go do the hunting. Yes, it might take you a little while, but the problem sometimes is with disclosure, if you do rely on your lawyer and sit back and don't do anything, your lawyer will go, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And then you go and find it, and you send it to them. And then 2 days later, we need this. You go find it, you go send it to them. That backwards and forwardsing is what costs so much money.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah, so if you get the checklist, download it off our website, or if you do our course, you can just do it all right off a day. Say, this is my disclosure day. I'm going to go get everything done, and email it to your lawyer or set it up in the system that we show you, and then it's done. And then you're going to save yourself all that disclosure stress.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
Okay. So number 4 thing you can do by yourself, if you can, is mediation.
Yeah.
So people ask that question a lot. Can I go to mediation without a lawyer?
Yes, and you can. You can always go without a lawyer. No one can require you to have a lawyer.
So you've done a lot of mediations, Mum. Did you see any people doing it by themselves?
Yes, lots of people doing it by themselves.
Yeah.
What some people did was they were able to ring their accountant and their lawyer during the mediation to get the answer to specific questions, or able to send the document to their lawyer to check over before they signed it, or just attend it by yourself. Take your time. If there's a heads of agreement reached, that's fine. Think about it, take it away, get some advice, and then you can say yes or no. So, no, it's not scary at all. And if I think if you've got a family violence order or concerns about your safety, a lot of mediations these days take place by Zoom and Teams, or shuttle, where you're in one room and you can have they're in the other room, never together, and they can stagger your times for leaving.
So you don't have to talk directly to your ex.
No.
And you don't even have to talk really to their lawyer. You talk to the mediator.
That's
and the
right.
mediator talks to the other lawyer.
And that's exactly right. So the mediator carries the messages from room to room,
Like a carrier pigeon.
It's like that. And it takes the heat out of it,
Yeah.
you know, and it allows you also, you can take a friend, right, to sit with you, to help you through. It's where those strong friends come in. Sometimes people bring a person that is going to really aggravate the other side, like your new partner or something. It's best not to do that.
Yeah.
Just think about the optics of all of that and how it would upset you if your ex had his or her new partner in the room giving input. The important thing is that the process is in your hands. You're being pressured probably by the mediator to settle, and you might get offers that seem really ridiculous. And that's, I think, why people are worried about doing mediation on their own, that they'll be forced into something they don't want to do. That's not the case at all. But you may change your perspective after hearing what the mediator says and what the other side says. And you might, for instance, check with your lawyer and say, am I barking up the wrong tree?
So you can ring them.
You can ring them,
and then say, hey, I'm at mediation. So you've had clients who've done that. They've organised to do the mediation themselves and say to their lawyer, hey, I'm going to do mediation by myself. Can I call you if I get stuck?
That's right.
And then the lawyer says yes. So, and it is, you don't have to agree to anything in mediation if you don't want to.
No.
So as long as you're educated about what mediation is and how the process works, you're saying you can do it, and lots of people do.
And it narrows the issues down. If you can't agree on everything, it narrows the issues down. And if it doesn't, you know what? At least you know what they're going to say in court, what their argument is, which you can then set about when you, after mediation, you can send proof to change their minds or find out what it is they need to see to make them come around to you.
Another good reason to do mediation by yourself, but everybody's situation is different, so please check with your lawyer. But you could do mediation by yourself if you're aware that you've got a manipulative, controlling, a narcissistic type, and you know it's going to be a big waste of time.
Yeah.
And spending the money for a lawyer or a barrister and a mediator for a whole day of backwards and forwardsing to talk to a narcissistic type person or a manipulative, controlling person, and then at the end,
they won't
nothing
sign.
Happens.
Yes.
You've wasted that whole day. But if you go by yourself, it doesn't cost you anything.
Well, it costs you half the mediator.
It won't cost you half the mediator. That's true.
And some people take a solicitor and a barrister to a mediation. And look, there might be times where that's appropriate. But if you don't have the money to do that, you can do it yourself. And when there is a barrister and solicitor on the other side, or a barrister or a solicitor, you still don't have to talk to them.
Yeah. The mediator talks
to the mediator.
To you.
Yep. Yeah. So you can set yourself up in they have separate rooms for shuttle, and you bring a fierce friend and you know, some snacks, a couple of drinks, not alcoholic, something to drink, and you stay in the comfort of that. Yeah. So you can ride out anything really on your own. It's just.
You just need to know what the process is, and then it's easy.
Yeah.
So mediation, you can do that on your own. And then the next thing you can do on your own, Mum, is you can create your own parenting plan or consent orders.
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So parenting plan, particularly, if you've got kids, you can write up a parenting plan on, I don't know, whatever you like, to pink paper or in a
Word document.
Word doc or in a notebook. As long as both of you have signed it and dated it, it's valid. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can put things in a parenting plan that a judge wouldn't put in an order from the court. Things like, we agree that that little Johnny will continue playing the violin until whatever year it is, or we agree that we won't talk to little Mary about X, you know, because it upsets her, or we agree that we want the best for our kids and this is how we're going to achieve it. So, and they put all sorts of things in there.
So the good thing about that is it's a parenting plan that you and your ex or your co-parent can create together via email, via letters, via phone, or via mediation.
And it doesn't need to use legal language.
Yes, because it's a parenting plan.
Yeah.
So the only downside is it's not legally enforceable.
No, although if you go to if someone ends up in court, that parenting plan is evidence of the agreement before, and the court will want to know why that's no longer appropriate. But yes, it's not enforceable, but it's more flexible.
Yeah.
It just depends what people want.
So it might be a good idea if you listen to our episode called The 12 Agreements, because we talk about the things that you don't want to forget about. And also, can you mediate with a narcissist is another good one that might help you with that as well. And in our course, we take you through how to create that as well. And you can lock a parenting plan in if you reword it into consent orders and file it in the court to make it. But it is we always say go and get a lawyer to check before you sign anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Mum, the 5 things you can do yourself is you can write your letters, you can figure out your property pool, you can actually probably figure out your percentages. If you've spoken to a lawyer, they can tell you. You can do your own disclosure.
Yeah.
You can go to mediation and you can write your own parenting plan.
Yes.
So why don't people do it? What's the barrier? What's stopping people from doing this stuff?
So I was thinking about that this morning, and I think divorce and separation is probably one thing that we don't even have a general knowledge about. We don't prepare for it. We don't find it on Pinterest and you know, and it's not something you've got a general awareness of. Like, you know, with weddings and babies and that, there's heaps of information out there and you pay attention to those sort of things.
Yeah.
But divorce doesn't concern you when you're in a happy relationship. So then they get a big shock. So when they suddenly are faced with the divorce, they've got no sort of undercurrent of knowledge except what they maybe have seen other people go through, but they just don't have the confidence go on. But you can DIY a lot of your separation and court. I think people are scared of other lawyers, scared of an unfamiliar place and the formality that you have to have. And, you know, if they didn't instigate the separation, they're probably in shock.
Yeah. So you've got to think to yourselves, I think, when you're deciding on, you know, how, like, because we talk about the different ways to use a lawyer. If you're listening today on things that you can do yourself, you know, you've got to really combat that imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Because, you know, Mum is a lawyer, yes, but Mum is a normal person. No, well, normal enough.
Yes.
She went through a divorce. She's got kids. She's got a family. She's lived her life. She's done things. Yeah. All lawyers are normal people.
Yes.
Debatable. And the same with judges and barristers and stuff. And you've had to learn how to drive a car. You've had to learn how to write an assignment. So there are things you can do. And I think sometimes what holds people back and makes them spend the money is that they're worried because their ex has said to them, "You're stupid," or "I'm so smart, I'm going to beat you." And what do you say to those kind of people?
Well, I just say to them that your ex telling you how smart they are and how dumb you are doesn't make it true. And I mean, I was working as a window dresser and I've worked as a shop assistant, but then I've done my law degree and an education degree. And I found it irritating that people who knew me when I was working in the shop behind the counter or window dressing suddenly started to treat me differently because I had a law degree. And I mean, I've just never forgotten that.
Yeah.
And so when we used to talk about it, Laura, we realised, we knew people are a lot smarter than we think.
Yes.
Than other people think.
Yes.
I think because I've been there, I know I'm the same person all the way through.
Yeah.
So, and I've been really impressed by the things that people can learn to do if only someone will show them the way.
I thought I was dumb. And I thought that, you know, I needed the lawyer to do everything and I couldn't do any of it myself. And it wasn't until I slowly learned it all and I was like, oh, gosh, I could have just done that myself. Oh, no, I just spent all that money. And then I have. So it's a learning process. And I think I just want people to understand, especially after talking in the webinars we've done recently to some people who've already spent $20,000. One person it's already spent $100,000. You know, so all this money that they're spending that they could be using on their new future. Yeah. Yes, of course, you need to get legal advice and find out where you stand. And yes, of course, you need to make sure that what you're signing is good for you. But you do not have to spend all that money on a lawyer if you are willing to learn and educate yourself. And we know a lot of our lovely listeners, that's what they're doing. We get so many lovely stories. And from our members who do our course as well, that save themselves all that money. So we just want you guys to know that just because it's law doesn't mean you can't do some of it. And if the way that I think it's really good to look at is you go to a doctor when things get tough with your health, the doctor gives you some tips and advice. Okay, your body's this, you should be doing this. And then you go away and you do it and you follow your plan of keeping your health. And with a lawyer, I think it's the same thing. Which should be. So, look, we're not saying don't go and see a lawyer. We're not saying all of that. What we're trying to say is you can do some of this yourself.
Yep.
And the barrier that might be holding you back is that you're thinking you're not smart enough or you're being treated like you're not smart enough. But some of this stuff is so basic and easy and you're the expert.
Yeah, you're the expert on your life. And it's easy enough to learn the law that relates to your particular problem.
Yeah. So 5 things you can do yourself, guys, is write your letters. You can do your property pool, figure that out. You can do your own disclosure. You can go and attend mediation by yourself. And you can write your parenting plan if you want. So hang in there. We've got your backs. You've got plenty of episodes you can go and listen to. And if you'd like to join our course, it is open at the moment as of May 18th. We will be closing doors soon. But if you'd like to come and do some of it yourself, go and listen to some of our episodes. Send us an email of what you'd like us to talk about next. But I think that those 5 things, they can save you a lot of heartache.
I think so.
And
A
dollars.
lot of money and ultimately, you and your kids will be better off with that money.
Yeah. Mum, in regards to the personality types, if you've got an avoidant, these 5 things probably are even easier to do.
They are. Yes.
Yeah.
They are. And you just need to write your letter in a way, say for an avoidant person, that there is, if I don't hear from you, I'll assume you're okay with this. And have time frames and dates and all of that. You can do that. Yeah.
And high conflict, can you still do this yourself?
Yes. I mean, we tell you how to keep the heat out of what you're sending and how to ignore the bad stuff that comes back, but just keep on.
Well, doing disclosure, when you're doing your own disclosure, it doesn't even matter what they're doing. Here it is. So it doesn't actually matter. And I suppose that's the same for manipulative and controlling. It doesn't. It's stuff that you're doing.
Yes, that's right. You're doing your own disclosure to them.
Yeah.
If they don't give you the right documents, then that's
tricky.
another story. And you might have to write a letter and name the document and say why you need it.
Yeah.
Calculate your property pool or your entitlements.
Yes.
Yep.
And you can go listen to our DIY discovery disclosure if your ex is hiding stuff. We give you some tips on how mum does that.
Yep.
And I guess then it comes to manipulative controlling. Same kind of issues, just keep going with it. You can still do this because this is you doing your work.
That's right. You're focusing on settling and getting out of it.
Yeah.
Whatever shenanigans the other person's got going on in their mind and whatever motivation they've got, you're just going to plod your way through inch by inch and get out the other side.
And doing these 5 things with an amicable relationship would be so easy.
Yes, it's a dot.
So just be careful not to set an accidental argument or create drama.
Or also try not to let them think that because you're friendly, there's a chance the relationship might rekindle.
True.
There's a little balance to be played there. And also you need to remember if your ex is amicable, it doesn't mean that, they want a reunion.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, this is a bit of a shorty, but just so you know, guys, you can do some of this yourself. Don't stress, but of course, always go and see a lawyer and get your own individual legal advice. But this stuff, if you can find a lawyer who does step in, step out, then you are going to be saving yourself a lot of money.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mum, for your time.
Thank you, Laura. Good luck, everyone.
If you found this podcast helpful, we'd love it if you could rate, review and subscribe. By doing so, you are spreading the word to help someone else just like you. Lynn would like to remind you that this podcast is general advice only and you should always get legal advice in relation to your particular situation. And remember that the Australian laws may have changed since recording.